Hey guys, welcome to the 101 and 10, where you get to see your favorite artists from around the world one in 10 minutes. I'm your host, Ayasha Roberson. I'm back on the scene with a new artist. So I love this artist right here. She's very creative, very theatrical. She has this Cyndi Lauper type of mood for me. Like girls just want to have fun type of thing. It's fun filled. She has this free spirit, very candid. Uh, Person that comes over the camera and through her music as well. And I love her songs talking about her experiences and how she was able to overcome these trials and tribulations, which makes her music so unique. And we had to have her on the show. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let me help you welcome to the stage the beautiful, multi-talented, and creative and fun-loving Eleanor Hammond. Yay!
Wow, that was the most beautiful introduction I've ever had. Thank you.
You're welcome, my love. And thank you for being on our show. I'm so excited. So, can you tell me and the rest of the 101 and 10 family and friends out here, how did you get started as an artist and what were your musical influences?
Okay, so I started writing music when I was 11 and some songwriting classes for kids, and that's when I really realized like I had a knack for writing songs. I just loved the way my world perspective, my worldview was able to be highlighted. And some of my influences include a lot of theatrical kind of artists like Kate Bush. I also love Joni Mitchell. I love Fleetwood Mac. I also love a lot of 90s artists like Fiona Apple, Alanis Morissette, Tori Amos, people that are very raw and real and big. I love like not, they take up space and they're not afraid to be themselves and they're quirky and weird and very like emotional. I really like those types of artists.
That's good. I think that's a great way to draw from your personal experiences. And I think when you are an artist or even just a person, and when you can actually tap into the realness of people, that makes it even more authenticity when it comes to your artistry as an artist. Because I believe artists have a hard time really connecting into that realness, and everyone wants to kind of quote unquote fake it until you make it type of thing. And they write music about, and I can feel it through music that they have no experience about it. They're just writing the music just based off of the numbers or what's popular or what's hot and what's everyone kind of liking on social media versus based off of your true authentic self, like what feels real to you, what feels good to you, because what feels good to you may not feel good to someone else, and what feels good to someone else may not feel good to you. But there's always a market to target when it comes to your music, and that's what makes your music feel so real and so true to yourself. So when you come across, when you sing these songs and you have this ability to really come across as this free spirited and carefree artist, not scared to be who you are as an artist. And that's what more artists need to see as well. And
Yeah.
you're still, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, I think one of my modern artists I love is Miley Cyrus, and I think she has a very great grasp on being true to herself. I mean, she's a very retro style now. She's had such her career. If you look at it, it's such a crazy story and
Mm-hmm,
arc. And I
mm-hmm.
just love the person she's become. And I love that at her concert she introduces kids to like classic rock songs from the 60s and 70s. And she's someone I really admire because she's not just sounding like every TikTok star, but she has this like, alto, very grungy, raspy voice, but that's also so gorgeous. And she's someone that I really aspire to be. And I love that you're talking about people writing from their real experiences and not just what's trending on TikTok. Because, yeah, you can definitely see through that. And I love that point you made. Um, yeah, so I also have a theatrical background. I did musical theater, and it's so story based, it's so character based, it's character driven. And so a lot of my music, I like to also write from that perspective and care about the story and the lyrics. I go to a lot of concerts where you can't hear the lyrics. Lyrics are like so important to me. So I always think about the audience, and I'm trying to do better about that and think about what stories I want to tell that can affect the audience.
And
Yeah.
which is great because you have this uh, theoretical background when it comes to theater and really putting yourself out there and knowing how people can feel that based off of what you're saying and based off the emotions. And when you look at your videos as well, that whole energy comes across so real and so rugged and so authentic. And that's what I think is really missing in the industry, period. That feeling that you get when you feel you can actually feel that person and you can feel that lyrics and you can feel the emotion, you can feel that intensity of it. And that's what's relevant and that's what's relatable and that's what's catchy. And it's good that you're so young and you were able to actually find yourself through that.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I mean, I think music really was the catalyst, and that's why I, did it so young and why I stuck with it with the songwriting classes at 11 years old, is because it was the only place where I felt like I don't really like journaling. I don't really like. I mean, I like verbally talking to people, but I think processing my emotions, it comes out the best way through music, and that's the way I get to know myself the most. And so I had to translate that by being raw and real online, and I can't not do that. And it is terrifying sometimes because like I'll make a video and some people will really love it and other people will hate it and think I'm cringe or think I'm these, they'll judge me, because when you're raw and real, you're more vulnerable to judgment, and people want to tear you down when they see someone who's authentic and who's unapologetic. But I realized like I'd rather be that and like really get to those people that it resonates with and just play it safe. So I like
Right.
risks too.
And also too, I think when people do things like that, because I think we're living in such a social media world where people feel like they can judge people based off of what they see and they
Yeah.
don't know the whole background. But if you put it out there on social media, it gives people that platform to do that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it says a lot about those people who do that kind of stuff. It tells a lot about your character. You're insecure. You're not a good person.
Yeah.
If you're that judgmental with someone that you don't know online, can you just imagine how that person is with people that they do know, and how they are in person? Whoo, I wouldn't want to even be even in the same comfort zone as that person. So I mean, so it's great that you're able to, be yourself. And as you continue to grow, you're going to continue to evolve and you're going to actually evolve into the person that you are going to become versus becoming a person that someone else wants you to become. And that's the thing. A lot of times people, they get these deals or whatever, and it always comes with conditions.
Right.
But if you're a person that's really doing it for the love of it, and this is your story and this is your book, there's going to be so many other opportunities that's going to come, and it won't be based off of the conditions. It's going to be based off of who you truly are, your true authentic self, and that's
So,
priceless.
thank you. I love that. That's so good. I mean, I've really struggled a lot, especially like the past couple years with like the whole TikTok music world and feeling like I should just fit into this box that they create on there, which is like, and that's great. Like some of those artists are absolutely amazing, but like I just feel like sometimes my presence just isn't really, doesn't always fit into that genre, I guess, that's being created. And there have been so many times where I'm like, why don't I look more like Olivia Rodrigo? Why don't I, like, why can't I fit more into that like mold? But it's just like, I just have an old soul that like loves 60s and 70s and 90s music, and I don't want to change that. And I want to be myself, and I'd rather have like a small following that like loves what I do than just try to be always so commercial. And that those artists are great, but that's just not me.
Correct. And as you get older, it gets harder to keep up with that. You know what I mean? Like it gets harder to keep up with all the trends and all the styles. And before you know, you just want to stop. It's just like the things that you like when you're 15, you probably won't like when you're 19 and 20. And the things that you like when you're 19, 20, you won't like it when you're 25 and 30. And the things you like when you're 21 and 30, you won't like when you're 35 and 40. And who wants to be signed into something by contract or by conditions based off of something that was popular 15, 20 years ago? I don't want to sign into something like that. I want to be able to say, if I want to take my shoes off and don't want to do X, Y, and Z, I can do it.
Yeah.
And that's the grand thing for life. Like you may want to be in musical theater. You may get opportunities to be in Broadway plays and Broadway shows on Broadway. You may get opportunities to do so many different things
So
other
sick.
than yeah, other
Uh,
than yeah. It's just like, but though people don't never see like the full picture. They only see what's in front of them.
I know, that's so true. That's what I keep trying to remind myself and other people. I mean, I'm so young, I'm 24, and this past year I've been pursuing music and nannying. And the main lesson I just have to remind myself every day, it's even on my agenda, is trust the journey, follow the journey, trust the process. Like, I'm so young. I want a long career. I don't want a short career viral on TikTok. Like, I want a long, sustainable career. And it's so difficult sometimes, but I have to remember I'm so young and everyone tells me that, but it's so hard to remember when people also put pressure on you and you put pressure on yourself to achieve everything right away. But yeah, like you said, I don't want to be, I don't know, I think of an artist like Billie Eilish who I absolutely love, and she really had to also shed that mold that she created when she was 16, 17, 18 into who she is now. And her fans changed because of that, I'm sure, and she's changed a lot. And I'm so happy that she's, even though she might get some backlash, she's like trusting herself and her journey. And I really respect artists that do that, similar to Miley Cyrus, and I think it's going to pay off. And yeah, that's why I'm also grateful that I'm not like super famous at 18, because I feel like that's like a prison sometimes.
Hmm.
And it
Hmm.
seems terrifying. Like, I didn't know who I was, I still don't know who I am.
Correct, correct, correct. I always say to people, if I knew if social media was out when I was a kid growing up, oh my gosh, it would have been all over the place because when you sometimes do things when you're 16, 17 years old that it hangs on to you and when you become 30, 35 years old and you're a different person. But that's what people will always hold on to is those images. And even if you evolve to be a completely different person,
It's
they
terrifying.
still will, yeah, they still will hold that to you. So you have to be somewhat emotionally strong and built and
Yes.
know that it takes tenacity with this field and it takes courage and it takes you being vulnerable as well, but also just being that true to yourself. And that's the thing that I want the fans to continue to hear. Eleanor is just really being true to herself, and you hear
Yes.
her struggle and you hear the adversity. It's not just you, it's all of us. We're all affected by different ways. And we always question like whether this is something we should be doing, especially when we see other people that may have come out and started in the industry much shorter period of time and are gaining more success, or they're gaining just more opportunities, and the opportunity may not be there for us yet, and it's okay and it's all right because we're going the pace that we're going, and then
Yeah.
when we eventually will achieve that success, we'll be more gratitude. We'll have be more humble about it. It'll just be a difference versus someone that's achieving it much more quicker. Usually they're not as more humble and they don't
Yeah.
have the same type of gratitude
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I agree, and I think that's also something that I've really tried to check in with myself about. I've seen a lot of friends get famous and like they've changed, and I don't even want to base my happiness off, or like my success off of being viral or famous. I think that that is dangerous. Like, I want to feel like today I've already achieved so much, and I want to feel like satisfied, not really successful. I want to feel satisfied, and I think I'm still trying to figure that out, but I think, yeah, like I said, enjoying the process, it leads to satisfaction rather than when I get this amount of followers, I'll be happy. When I get this much money, I'll be happy, because that goalpost is always going to shift. And so I'm really trying to build that now, and like you said, build that strong foundation now, especially in the age of the internet. It's terrifying. So much.
No, no, this is good talk and it's real talk as well. So I mean, we all have our fears, and it's good that you have your fears, but you know what your fears are, and you're able to release them and keep on moving forward. So let's talk a little bit about your music. So 2022, you have your new album, you have quite a few songs on it, Sirens. You have Nighttime Bitch,
Nighttime
which is
bitch, yes.
very different from Sirens. And then, of course, I like The Best of Thought. How did you come up with these songs, and what was the songwriting process or creation process like when creating this
Yeah,
album?
sure. So it's I've just done like a string of singles. I actually haven't really come out with my debut album yet, but those
Oh,
probably
sorry.
will. It's okay, but those probably will be on the debut album. I've just haven't done that yet, but Okay, so we'll talk about those three. So Sirens, it started out as a piano song, like a ballad, and then my producer was like, "This sounds like it could be like a big rock song, like or like have some rock pop alt elements." And I was like, "I love that. Like I love the way my producer Donninger always like takes things up to the next level." So that song I wrote in my apartment on my last semester of college, and I was feeling just extremely alone and sad, and I was dealing with a lot of depression, and there was an ambulance outside my apartment window, and I had this thought at like 3 a.m. of like, oh, what if that ambulance was coming for me? Like, what if, because I had like a breakdown, what if it was coming to take me away, basically? And then I started writing that song that day, and I, it's about relying on other people to fix your problems and kind of codependent situations and getting into unhealthy dynamics to make yourself feel less alone. Um, and so it turned into a wake up call for me and for other people to kind of just make mental health a little more mainstream. It's more talked about now, but I still feel like people often feel scared to talk about their anxiety and depression. And so that song was just to help people feel less alone and also feel aware of these relationships, abusive, often relationships we can get into when we're in a bad place. So that's that one. And it's become like a really cool, quirky alt pop song. And I love the percussion, especially. I love that it has these like different sounds creating the percussion. Like it's not just a basic drum kit, but
Mm-hmm.
we have these different sounds and textures that I think is really exciting. And then the next song, Nighttime Bitch, I wrote also on college after a hookup. And it was this guy I'd been seeing for a while, and it was just casual. And there was just one night where I just left, and he was a great guy. Like, he was fine. He was super respectful, which was great. But I just still felt like, Eleanor, why are you want a relationship, but you're just seeing this person out of not wanting to be alone? And so I felt like I was just being used for my body, which I was, I thought that's what I wanted, but I realized like I don't just want someone when they're horny and alone. I want someone for bigger reasons. And so that song's kind of just about hookup culture and Tinder and all that. And then Best of Tonight is my recent single, and this one I really love where it's taking my genre of music where it is really getting into that theatrical pop sound. It's a very big song. It's kind of an anthem, but it also has some ballad elements, which I think kind of are similar to musical theater. And I wrote it last year, and it's about having a new connection, a romantic connection, and being nervous about where it's going to go. But doing it anyway, living in the moment and just savoring the moment and making the best of that night together, if it's on a date or whatever. And then also, people have related it to when they have a breakup, and it's about savoring the good parts of that relationship, because oftentimes when we have a breakup, it's like we just are so bitter about it. The Best of Tonight is also about, savoring those good moments with that person. And breakups don't always have to be just sad. So I love writing music that's sad and happy, not just sad, but like they have elements of both. And Best of Tonight, I think, does a great job where it celebrates something but also recognizes the sadness. And I have an acoustic version of that song coming out on Friday because I wanted to kind of give those sad moments more volume, I guess. So I'm putting that out on Friday, so it's going to be different, but also I think people will really enjoy it. And that song has a great music video that I literally did for $0 at the Record Parlor in Los Angeles.
Woohoo!
And it also has an LGBT narrative in the video, and I'm really proud of it. So that's my recent song, and I feel like the energy of that song is just who I am. Like it's big, it's bright, but it's also emotional, vibrant, celebratory. We need more of that in our lives. I noticed Ukraine um, is actually my biggest audience, and I think that is interesting because they need a lot, they need hope over there. So
Right.
I'm just like so grateful that my song's reaching people and
That's
helping.
great. And it's a yeah, and it's great because it's a connection with your music. It's something that they can feel and vibe with when it comes to your music. And that's one of the things we talked about earlier. It's just like really feeling your music and seeing the authenticity and seeing that your music is genuine and it's real and it can touch people not just here but around the world, especially Ukraine. So our thoughts and prayers is with the Ukrainians
Yes,
as they're dealing with that situation still over there in that part of the world. But Eleanor, can you tell the fans where they can go to get your music, they can come to your upcoming shows and book you as well?
yes. So on my website, eleanorhammond.com, has all my information. I also have a link tree, which is my name, Eleanor Hammond, and Instagram, YouTube, all Eleanor Hammond, Spotify, all of that stuff's Eleanor Hammond. And my next show is at Bar Lubitsch in Los Angeles on March 28th. And my next song again comes out on Friday, and I have a new single coming out March 3rd called Dream Chaser, which is about social media. Very relatable to this conversation. It's all about not comparing yourself to other people online and still following your dreams. So it's very relevant to anyone listening. And yeah, I think that's everything. I do lives every Monday evening at, what was the time? At 7 p.m. PST. So that's 10 p.m. EST, I believe. So I'm going to start doing IG lives. So this Monday I'll be doing one. So you can catch me there. And yeah, that's it.
I'm definitely gonna plan to catch you on IG on Monday nights. I'll
Yes.
make sure I stay up until 10 o'clock because I'm on Eastern
I know.
Standard Time.
I was trying to plan it so my East Coast people can still come
It's
without
all right.
enough time, but
I'll still be there if I fall asleep. I'll be like, I was there for like maybe the first 10 minutes because, but I'm going to definitely make it so. But for those people who actually work at night, this is
Mhm.
a great show to watch, especially if you're working the 3 to 11 shift. You got maybe an
Yes.
hour to go. You can
Mhm.
watch her show on IG. We got all our information at the bottom of this video link, and I'm looking forward to seeing all great things for you, Eleanor, in 2023 and beyond. So make sure you guys follow her and make sure you also support her as well. Go to our website right now. Thank you so much, Eleanor, for being
Thank
on the show. And thank you guys for watching the 101 in 10, where you get to see your favorite artists from around the world 101 in 10 minutes. I'm your host, Ayasha Roberson. I'm looking forward to seeing you on the next episode. Stay tuned, be safe, and love you. Bye.